I've been asked to tell you just two of the amazing results in two different aspects of my health and my body. I could really give you a dozen. So since we're talking about the X39, let me start talking about brain function and brain speed that has been astounding from the first day I put on the patch last July. I got the patches July 1st. I put them on July 2nd, 1X39, and I began to think clearer, think faster. And the most amazing thing is that it was time for me to re-up my trademarks. I have 2 trademarks for my coaching business. Wow. And it was so complicated. The government website was so complicated. I just finally, at some point in about June, I put a pile of papers on the floor near my laptop, and I said, I'll get to this later, or I'll do something about it. I'll call an attorney. You know, I have a little time.
Right.
But the second day that I had the X39 on, I suddenly said, you know, Susan, enough is enough. You're going to sit down at the laptop. You are going to re-up your trademarks today. You're going to sit down and you're not standing up until you solve this.
Wow.
And it's complicated. You know, it's a very complicated website. So I got on the website and I'm going around and I said to myself, wait a second, I bet there's another way I can do this without spending $1,700 on an attorney. And I just sat there and I thought, and literally, I used the brain I was born with, not the brain that I had, right, that it had devolved into. And I was so focused, I was so determined, and suddenly I thought of the solution. 20 minutes later, I had solved the problem, and I stood up and I was done. And that was the first miracle I had. And that was on the second day I wore the X39.
Wow.
Because I'm not chronologically young anymore, what I can tell you is that I have now the brain I always used to have. Wow. I have the brain that I used to have. Actually, I think it's better because I always had attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and I am totally focused in a way that I would say I never have been. So that's a huge, huge miracle. But the second testimony, I swim 66 laps each day, 6 days a week. And I'm laughing when you call me athletic because this is new. This is something I started 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And before that, you know, I just used a strict limitation of food to have this be the size I wanted to be and have the body I wanted to be. But now I'm this, you know, latter day athlete. It's very funny, except that I injured my shoulder blade and I was screaming in pain. And I love chiropractic care. I've been a devotee of chiropractors since 1982. I've had more than 1,000 adjustments. And my chiropractor, who's very talented, eliminated the spasms, eliminated the top edge of the pain, and couldn't make the problem go away.
Wow.
He couldn't. And I was just desperate because I have a zero pain tolerance. I refuse to live with pain. And I'm not giving up. You know, I said, there's got to be a solution. I have all these patches. There's got to be a solution. So I came back from the chiropractor. I sat down with my cell phone and the Telegram app, and I just shuffled through it to look for people who had testimonials about eliminating pain, which is why I'm such, you know, I'm here to give a testimonial because I know they can save people's lives.
Right.
And I found a testimonial about the Eon, that if you use 2 Eons rather than just 1 Eon, et cetera, et cetera. So I took out the Eon sleeve, I sat down, I put 1 Eon directly on my shoulder blade, and I did exactly what David Schmidt says. I waited about 5 minutes, and the pain did diminish.
Amazing.
And, you know, more importantly, I saw this relaxation, because that's another part of the Eon.
Correct.
And I saw that my whole body started to just relax, even though the pain was still there. Now it was about a maybe a 5 or a 6, not an 8 anymore. And so I took the second Eon and I used this KISS technique where you put the patches touching, not overlapping. And literally, as soon as I put the second Eon on, right next to the other one, the pain started to drift away.
Wow.
It started to just fade away. It was if there was no more pain. And the amazing thing, everyone, the pain never came back. To have been in that level of pain, put on 2 Eon patches, it never came back. Now, I wore 2 of them the next day just to be sure, you know, but zero pain. And I have since then, I've pushed my knee, I pushed my lower back, I pushed my foot, whatever, swimming. And every single time, I can tell you, as soon as I use this KISS technique, I have zero pain. And it is just a blessing.